Hey guys, what's going on? This is Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you for clicking on this video. Guys, today's goal is going to be, well, it's been 2+ months now, a little over 2 months after 2 years of playing this game on my whale account, on my pay-to-win account. But now it's been a little bit over 2 months on my free-to-play account. And, you know, what is the verdict here? I've had enough time to kind of get the lay of the land. I put a lot of time into this account. That's going to be one of my major points in this video, time. AKA time versus money. But in reality, is it possible? Is it even worth it to try to play Raid Shadow Legends completely free to play? I'm going to give you kind of the pros and the cons, what I learned and what I was surprised at along my journey on my free to play account. By the way, if you guys want to join me, if you're bold enough to take the free to play challenge, go ahead and use my download link. This video is not sponsored, but if you use my download link from my other channel, you'll get a bunch of free stuff if you make another account. So go ahead and take advantage of that. I'll include it in the description below. Anyway, guys, so here's my account really quickly. I did a full kind of account catch up on my apothecary video from a day ago. So if you guys want to kind of get the lay of the land in terms of where I am on this account, feel free to go watch that video. I'll have it linked as well in the description below. But really, you know, I could have had a 6-star champion fully ascended, but I chose to kind of spread the wealth a little bit. I invested in probably 5 or 6 champions overall. And really the number one takeaway I have for anybody trying to go free to play on their accounts, or just spending not a ton of money, or really anybody no matter what, is to focus on a very select few bunch of champions. That is the number one rule of free to play or low spending Raid Shadow Legends. And low spending inside this game to me is really anything like $20 or less a month. You'll definitely want to stick with only one team, and then you slowly and gradually build from that team. It's imperative. If you start focusing on more than 4 and 5 champions at the very start of this game, as a free-to-play player or a low spender on this game, it's funny how $20 a month is considered low spender on this game. I'm totally aware that that's enough to pay for like Hulu and Netflix a month, you know, combined. But, you know, suffice it to say, you got to stick with one team. You really have to in the beginning of this game. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough silver, resources, energy, anything, food, farming, campaign, anything to actually upgrade your characters, right? So in today's video, what I want to do, you can see I have a few characters here that I've been able to work on, namely Kale, Apothecary, War Maiden, Crimson Helm, and we also have Painkeeper and Masked Fearmonger as well, and we pulled Bellower recently. So this is what we have High Katoon that we unlocked after 60-day login reward. Let me go ahead and share my experience with you guys, and if you are starting a free-to-play account yourselves, well, what do you have in store for you? How difficult is it? So let me go ahead and I unlocked Doom Tower, by the way, too. We're working on Doom Tower, which is actually really important. We'll get to that later as to why. So what was really hard? 2-minute, maybe 90-second rant incoming. What is really hard is what was expected to be very difficult and very frustrating about this game as a free-to-play player and as a low spender in this game. And that is books or skill tomes. This video is not meant to be an entire rant, but feel free to fast forward 90 seconds if you don't want to hear this one mini rant inside an overall pretty positive video. Dude, why in the world are you going to add a mechanism to upgrade every single champion in this entire game, no matter the rarity? Why are you going to add the key way to upgrade these champions only available via, you know, very special kind of one-off rewards or to spend? That's it, man. That's it. Even rare books are so tough to get. If there was one dungeon, one way that I could spend my energy to actually farm pages or books inside this game, that would make the whole free-to-play experience, the whole entire experience of this game 100 times better. But what kind of a sicko company, with all due respect, good people work there, but what kind of a sicko company would actually design their game so one of the most, if not the most important upgrade can only be purchased? Oof. Okay. I exaggerate a little bit. You can get them through, like I said, events. You can actually get them through, what, advanced quests, stuff like that, daily quests. So there are ways to get them, but they're not really farmable ways, like faction wars, one-off rewards, stuff like that. So I've been able to get my hands on maybe about 10, 15 rare books in 2 months, which is enough to book like 2 champions, you know? The rest of them I have to just wait for because there's no way for me to actually focus on upgrading those. There's no way. And that really sucks. Rant over. That's number one, though. Number 2 is fusions, right? There's a really nice fusion going on right now, but as a free-to-play player, they're not impossible because I see other people doing it. I see some people in the comments. But unless you want to totally no-life this and just grind and grind and grind and not pay attention to your family, your girlfriend, your husband, whatever, then you're not going to be able to. It's going to be so difficult, at least in the mid game and the early game. Maybe in the late game as a free to play, I might revise my opinion. All right, I reserve the right to revise my opinion on this. But dude, in the early game or the mid game, forget about it, man. I'm not even going to bother going after these fusions, which would be really nice to have access to as a free-to-play player. The Artifact Forge is another one. I thought this was going to be an amazing source of artifacts for my champions in the early and the mid game, but it's faction wars dependent. You need the faction wars to farm the ore or whatever. So, ultimately, how am I going to compete in faction wars, right? It's really just going to be farming the first couple levels of every faction war that I happen to have my 5, 6, 7 champions in that faction, which is important to do, by the way. That way you can get those ores, and I've been able to get a few pieces of really good artifacts perception that I actually have on Crimson Helm, which I showed you guys on my my apothecary video. I'm putting all of my epic books into Crimson Helm first, and then I'll work on the Wenderin. So, it's tough, but at the end of the day, stick to one team. Now, next, again, I have to say, besides the books in the fusion events, it's really time, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the video. Time is a huge, the amount of time you have to play this game in order to get what $5 could have bought you. It's like, you could either work, I always look at something like a full-time job or like a job or something, right? So I could sit there for 8 hours and do as much farming as maybe $10 would have purchased. The time versus money ratio in this game is something that people ought to be aware of. You can play as a free-to-play. By the way, the second half of this video is all going to be positive things. It's not a big rant. I'm not giving up on my account. I actually really love this account, okay? But I have to tell you, it's a warp. You have to know what you're expecting, right? I have to be real with you guys. It is warped, man. Just $10 can get you, especially in the early game, can get you a day or two of progress. That's hours upon hours that I am refreshing campaign farming when one chicken could have saved me all that time, right? So it's messed up. It's messed up in terms of how much of an advantage money can buy you. But a lot of games are like that. A lot of gacha games are like that. And a lot of, other empire building games and stuff like that are like that as well. Even in Clash of Clans, the game that I started with on YouTube, if you spent $20 in the beginning of the game, it can get you tons. It can get you days worth of progress. Same thing in Raid Shadow Legends. So let me go ahead and take a trip over to, I don't know, Dragon's Lair? Might as well, right? So what about the good stuff? I have to say, guys, this is kind of a neutral. It's not a pro or a con, but the silver, as long as you're limiting your champions to a very, very select and narrow pool, the number one mistake you can make in this game is they're always releasing new champions. Every month, new champions lately. And all these champions look really good, and some of them are really good. But the biggest mistake you can make, the number one mistake, I made a whole video about this, is getting enticed to upgrade all these champions. When you unlock one of these new champions, you go, whoa, that could really help me out. No. Unless it is an absolute difference maker for a key role on your team. You should have a damage dealer, a debuffer, a healer, or reviver, and then you have a couple of flex spots. Crowd control is great. Have a provoke or a stun type champion. But other than that, guys, if you're just making a very small upgrade, let's just say I pulled, let me think of another good, High Katoon, for example, is a perfect example. I just got her from daily login rewards, but I already have Apothecary. No way am I investing in an epic champion. Epic champions, I can't even imagine legendaries. They're a gift and a curse. They take so much more resources. So the higher the rarity of the champion, generally the better they are. Not always the case though. Generally the better they are, but they are exponentially more difficult to max out. So as a free-to-play player in this game, do not get tempted. Do not get tempted at investing in a champion just because they're epic, okay? So that's kind of the middle of the road. And silver is an issue in this game. It's an issue no matter if you spend or no matter if it's free to play, but it's manageable in the early to the mid game if you just kind of narrow your champion pool, okay? Now the good. I have to say, guys, they throw a lot of gems at you in this game. I've gotten almost 1,800 gems, 1,800. I've actually gotten more than that. I stand corrected. I unlocked the gem mine, which was my first order of business. It should be all of your first orders of business with gems. And then on top of that, so over 2,000 gems I've gotten so far, just off of, quests and dailies and whatever. I bought my masteries outright on Kale. I wanted to have one champion who is fully masteried, and Kale makes the perfect sense. So I used 800 gems that I got as a free-to-play player to buy all Kale's masteries. And you can argue if that's a good or a bad thing. I spent 150 gems on a one-day XP double, because those double your XP things should always have those if you're going to go on a long day of hours and hours of campaign farming. But other than that, I still have 800 or so gems left over. So we get way more gems than I was expecting, so I'm a big fan of that. Just be careful you use them very strategically. 800 gems for masteries is a lot, but again, I thought long and hard about it, and I thought it was the right decision. In terms of energy, man, energy is everywhere. I've only ran out of energy once, and I've spent long days, I would say 8 hours off and on while I'm at my desk doing other work or at the gym or whatever, just, refreshing campaign farming, not every day, but, a few days a week, spending like that much time, 6, 7, 8 hours, and it's totally cool. Like, should I keep this? Doesn't have the crit rate, but it is an avenging set. I'll sell it. That's close, though, on a free-to-play. So, been very, very happy with the energy and the gems. Way more than I was expecting. And then the last thing, guys, is no shortage of things to do. I thought that the finite limitation of resources would really put a cap on, okay, I'm done with my free-to-play account today. But really, you can get, if you're, 99% of your goals out of this game should just be to enjoy yourself, right? I mean, because you're not going to compete for top arena because you're not spending $20,000 a month. I exaggerate a little bit, but not too far off, right? So other than that, then what are your goals in this game? Just to enjoy yourself, to have fun with your clanmates, and to try to get better and to keep improving, right? So you can do that as a free-to-play player in this game. Like, listen, I used to cringe when I advertised this game years ago. People were just like, on the script, they were like, it's free to play. And I'm like, oh God, do I have to say it's free to play? But I have to say that if your goal is just to enjoy the game and make progress, this game is 100% fun and viable and totally cool as a free-to-play player. It really is. I mean, I'm doing it. So, I'm putting my no money where my mouth is. You guys get what I'm talking about. It's actually really fun. And pulling a champion, when I pull a legendary on my main account, it's not even a big deal. I don't even care. When I pull a legendary on this account, I'm gonna be so enthusiastic, so happy about it. No matter who it is, even if it's like Growhawk, I'll be like, yes, Growhawk! War Mother! I'm so happy, War Mother! Marry me, War Mother! I don't care, man. So it's more gratifying and rewarding in a way when you don't purchase everything in the game, So I truly do believe that Raid Shadow Legends is a really fun and great game to play as a 100% free-to-play player or as a non-big spender, because I really do feel like, it's anecdotal, it's just my experience, but I do feel like I enjoy the game a lot more on my free-to-play account right now. It's fun to go in and flex, beat Doom Tower hard and get into Platinum Tier Arena and stuff on my pay-to-win account, but at the end of the day, I still get more enjoyment off of my free-to-play, maybe because that's new and it's kind of a shiny new object for me. And it's kind of a new task, a new goal to kind of orient my time and focus in terms of Raid Shadow Legends. However, again, it's still a lot of fun. At the end of the day, that's all I care about, and I never run out of things to do. There's Tag Team Arena, there's Doom Tower, there's Clan Boss, there's Faction Wars, there's Arena, which is 40 attacks a day with all the bonuses and stuff like that you get. And then there's all the energy that I have. There's upgrading champions. There's never going to be a limitation on how much you can play and enjoy this game just because you're a free-to-play player. So I think at the end of the day, Raid Shadow Legends, right? We get a ways to go, especially in the, I'm not going to rant about it again, but especially in terms of the whole book situation. But other than that, it can be a really, really fun game to play as a free-to-play player, and I intend to continue this series forever because I'm really enjoying it. Hope you guys are as well. If you are, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, turn on your bell notifications. You'll be part of the notification squad. How official and cheesy sounding. Guys, thank you for watching all the way till the end. I appreciate you, and as always, take care, guys.